What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD Mobile video. So today was the day that they finally released the VLK Rogue shotgun to the general public for Call of Duty Mobile. So first and foremost, I am pretty happy and excited to be back, reviewing guns as I did before. It's going to be a crazy experience. And keep in mind, guys, I am almost at 10,000 subscribers. We have been growing massively throughout these past few days that I've been back. And I want to thank you guys so much for the support. But let's keep on growing. Hopefully, soon enough, we could reach 20,000, maybe 15,000 by a certain time frame. But yeah, let's actually get started. So the VLK Rogue, yes, like I said, is the brand new shotgun for this season. Shotguns are not really something that are considered common when they do get released. Usually, if anything, there's probably maybe one a year. So it's very important to find out whether or not it's going to be good, because if the shotgun's not going to be good, then we might not get another good one for a good while. Usually they don't really disappoint too harshly with shotguns. If anything, they've improved them over time. Most weapons evolve as the meta changes. So, if there's a meta that's like kind of out of control, they'll buff certain weapons, especially shotguns, to kind of match up with them. That's kind of what they've been doing for these past few years. And shotguns, I know for a fact, have been improved a lot in these past 2 years, specifically with slug rounds, the Buy 15, the Echo. I mean, my Echo is the Echo is actually my personal favorite shotgun to use. But yeah, shotguns overall have received a lot of different types of improvements. And I mean, even now, I think the R9 is the shotgun that's considered to be part of the meta, or at least very close to it. Unfortunately, the Echo is not there. Maybe it's because it hasn't really been looked at enough, which is something I do want to at least change a little bit. But for now, let's actually discuss the VLK Rogue. So the VLK Rogue is, I think, one of the last shotguns needed from Modern Warfare. So we're probably not going to get another shotgun from that game. They're probably going to move on to like maybe the Vanguard shotguns or to the Cold War shotguns. I can't really think of any of them. I mean, you could probably say the 725, but we already have the Shorty in this game, so technically that doesn't really count. But I mean, stranger things have happened. I didn't think the XM4 would come out because we already have the M4, but it came out anyways last season, so anything is possible with this game at this point. I also try to do a little bit of research for this gun, just to make sure like I get the timeline correctly, or at least when it got released, because I originally thought that this weapon was kind of like a launch weapon, if it came with the game the day, it pretty much launched. But no, apparently this gun came out in Modern Warfare 2019's second season. Of course, it didn't really hold a candle to the 725, which was probably the most well-known shotgun in that game, mainly because of its incredible range. But the VLK Rogue was actually used for another purpose. So I'm sure, and this is pretty much a given, but I'm sure most of you guys have already seen incendiary rounds in this game. So incendiary rounds, just in case you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's a pretty large term. Basically, it's a fire round, like a thermite round, or just a dragon's breath. I'm sure you've seen that with the Jack 12, you've seen that with the Kilo, you've seen that with the Man of War. But yes, this weapon specifically for Modern Warfare 2019 was used a lot with Dragon's Breath. In fact, I think most, if not all, the shotguns had that feature. But another thing is that the VLK Rogue was also well known for its hipfire accuracy. Apparently, it had like very, very wicked hipfire accuracy. But in this game, obviously, things are a little bit different. Yes, we do have that same exact weapon from that same exact game, but more often than not, they do tend to be balanced differently. And I can tell you that with absolute confidence, because as you see in the video, I've already gotten Damascus on it, and I got it relatively fast. I was streaming, and probably within, I think the actual time was like around 6:56 p.m. when I actually unlocked it. It's not necessarily a very hard weapon to grind for, specifically if you know what you're doing. But there are some challenges that might stump quite a bit of people. And the thing with me is that, like, I know most of the general challenges for weapons, but given that shotguns don't come out that often, I often forget what the challenges are. Because way back when Damascus first came out, shotgun challenges were a little bit different. For the splinter camos, they had long shots instead of getting 2 kills without dying 30 times. Headshot challenges were also something that kind of caught me by surprise. I forgot we actually had headshot challenges. I'm not sure if like the other shotguns got changed, or maybe they made headshot challenges for this one to make it a little bit more challenging. But yes, headshots are unfortunately a thing, but of course, given that, slug rounds are a lot more powerful than before, this one, using slug rounds on this will definitely make the headshot challenges a lot easier. And don't worry, it's not like the shorty where it often misses the slug shot. I mean, if you just aim at a certain way, you'll basically hit the target. It won't basically go off course if you're right on target. That's basically what I'm trying to say. The only shotguns I know that do that is the R9 and I think the shorty. So those are the only two that I could think of. But I was actually worried that I was going to do the same thing, but no. This one is pretty accurate. But of course, if you guys are unsure, you could always put just ADS bullet spread attachments. But trust me, anyways, it's not going to be that bad. My best recommendation for you is to just go on kill confirm shipment. If you also want to, I know I shouldn't be advising you guys to do this, but if you guys want to, connect a controller to your iPad. You could still play touch controls. You guys could just connect your controller and you have a lot less people to deal with. I'm telling you this now mainly because doing the no attachment challenges is actually going to be a little bit hard. It's not like the Argus this time around where you could just like one-shot people across the map. No, this one's going to be a little bit different because it does have a much weaker one-shot kill range given the fire rate that it has. And, even with the hip fire accuracy, it's not always guaranteed you're going to have to get that you're even going to get a one-shot kill. So you're going to have to be at very, very close ranges. And it's going to be a lot harder to do that if you have a bunch of tryhards in your shipment lobbies kind of just ruining the fun for you. So keep in mind, this weapon, like I said, does have very short one-shot range. Even if you stack up the range, it doesn't really do too much. So having like this gun specifically, you have to deck it out in a certain way for you to actually be a little more successful with it. That's the only main hurdle is, doing the no attachments. But once you actually do finish it and you deck it out with attachments, trust me, it becomes way easier. If you do stay in the middle of the shipment map, it should be a little bit easier to make those one taps. But yeah, once you start getting those attachments, the challenges should be a little bit more simpler. Also, once you do get those attachments, make sure to do the headshot challenges first. Just get the hard part out of the way. It's not that difficult. As you're doing that, you're most likely going to be knocking out the rest of the challenges, which naturally come to you. Getting 2 kills without dying, getting hipfire kills, all that stuff. That basically just comes naturally. It's the only main hurdle is just the no attachments and the headshot challenges. And, everyone's different. Sometimes if you're doing the no attachment challenges, you might score a few headshots here and there. So make sure even during that point to also at least try to aim at the head. I'm hoping that most of you guys are probably going to be done with all the major challenges and all you have left is the sand challenges. That at least that's what happens to me. I usually finish all the main challenges before the sand challenge is done. So with the VLK Rogues case, it doesn't really... I mean, there's not that much to do. It's just 300 kills. And once you've done all that, you basically get Damascus, Platinum, or whatever else you have. So here's the tricky part now. So like you've already finished everything. You got gold on it and you're ready for the diamond grind on shipment. What kind of build do you have? It's a question that I'm sure a lot of you guys have. Once you finish your gun, you're just like, okay, what now? Like, how do I build this out to make it the perfect gun? So the VLK Rogues case, like I said, is kind of unique. So like for the first time, you don't actually have to like do some extra task to get you flame round. It's already in the game. But the reason why I'm mentioning that is because the Dragon's Breath is basically the only attachment that I could think of that's makes the weapon successful. Having extra range with this gun really doesn't matter because again, the range isn't that far and you are going to be getting a lot of 2 or 3 taps a lot if you don't use the Dragon's Breath. If anything, the Dragon's Breath is basically the key to getting one-shots from longer distances, provided that you actually do enough damage to the player at that range. It's very important that you do land as many pellets on the enemy as you possibly can because the higher the pellets that you have, the higher the chance that you're going to actually be able to do a one-shot kill. Keep in mind the one-shot kill isn't instantaneous unless you're like a few feet away from them. But it is a lot more guaranteed if you do land those pellets at the longer range. Depending on what the initial damage is that you deal to the enemy, the faster they're going to actually go down. So for example, let's say you do 70 damage to them right off the jump as you shoot them. they're gonna go down very, very quickly. Not to the, like, basically to the point where they're not really gonna kill you and take you down with them. But of course, that matters more at the longer ranges where you can't really do that type of damage. So you're doing like maybe 40 or 35 or maybe even 20. However, even if you do those types of damages at those range, it is still kind of guaranteed that you will get the one-shot kill, but it won't happen instantaneously. So with this weapon, as good as it is, you have to be very careful because you don't want the enemy to take you down with them. But that's also the magic of this weapon, because even if they kill you, there is a very, very high chance, if you do shoot the enemy, that you could actually take them down with you. It may not mean much given that you die as well, but at the same time, it might actually turn the tides of a game. So for example, if you see someone camping and they manage to kill you, but you land a shot and they end up dying, you might have stopped them from making a very high kill streak. So yes, this is kind of like, I guess, a last resort type of shotgun. A very suicidal shotgun at the same time as well. But if you know how to avoid the other player, I'm sure you won't have really anything to worry about. Again, the less damage that you deal with them, even if you know it's a guaranteed one-shot kill, or if the flame is eventually going to kill them, it's obviously, you know, the lower damage it is, the more you're going to have to wait for that person to die, giving them a little bit more time to take you down in the process. But of course, that could be avoided if you know how to move around the map. And really, that's something that I still have to learn. I haven't really finished grinding this thing out diamond. I have like over 80 games done, but I don't really know how I'm gonna have to like maneuver like when I'm just using this gun normally. Even more so than when I use the Echo, because when I use the Echo, it's a little bit more like I'm kind of more like reckless, given that it already has like crazy good one-shot and two-shot range. But with the VLK Rogue, it's a different story because you can't just continuously shoot like it's nothing. It's a really good troll weapon, I'll tell you that. I've already had a few people shoot my body as I've been grinding diamond for this gun. Also, a good counter to this, just in case you are the one in the receiving end, make sure to use either Dauntless, or make sure you have a class setup that has Dauntless, or Flak Jacket, whichever you prefer. You could basically render that VLK user powerless and just take them out easily. So kind of use that logic of knowing that the Dragon's Breath kind of cuts off the one-shot kill range, and especially even more so if you're using one of those two perks. So you could use that logic against them. Well, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed my, I guess, somewhat of a review. I'm not done reviewing until I get a diamond, but yeah, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed what I have so far with it. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.